Hello everyone, I'm back and I don't know if I made a video while I was sick the last time, but if I did, I'm sick again. Yeah, I somehow got a cold after recovering from the flu. So, yay. I'm not allowed to skate right now because first I need to recover and then I can go back on the ice. Which is okay, but it's still a bit sad. Well, I already wanted to give you an update a few days ago, and I did film something for it, but then I had a complete mental breakdown because the downstairs neighbor tried to stir up some trouble again. That guy, we have a lot of issues with him. We've been having issues with this guy for years. He kept on, he keeps on like banging on the balcony railing, and it's made out of metal, so it's really loud and because he thinks something in this apartment is being loud. He said he's hearing some vibrations from the walls or whatever. It's really weird. Um, and honestly, I can't blame him because I hear them as well. I hear them at night and I have no idea where they come from. They definitely don't come from this apartment because they're so like dull. The sound is so faint that it must come from somewhere else, like maybe somewhere above us or something. Maybe it's a water pump in the wall or whatever. We don't know, but he's 100% convinced that me and my family wants to make his life worse and therefore does that on purpose. Yeah, as if we didn't have anything better to do. Well, apologies for my voice. I know it's not the prettiest right now. And since my voice is really the only thing I can show on this channel, yeah, it's a pretty big issue because now the only thing I have kind of like going for me here is a bit impacted by my current sickness. But it's fine, it's just a cold. It's gonna be gone in a few days. I don't know if I'm gonna manage to upload this today, but if I do, Saturday, you know, I think it's the 10th or something. I don't really know. Um, yeah, I'm expecting to be able to get back on the ice on either Monday or Tuesday. I am aiming for Tuesday, but depending on the weather forecast, because if it's snowing, it's all right. But if it's raining, I don't want to be on the ice because I don't want to get wet while I'm literally like skating because, you know, I have like an open air rink, so it's really cold. There's a lot of wind then, and I just don't want to freeze because I know that I'll just get sick immediately again. Um, so yeah, I'm really hoping for Tuesday though. Well, uh, what else? I could tell you some things about my progress or something. I made some progress. I don't exactly remember what I told you last time, but I've gotten better. Um, I don't know what to start with, honestly. So I can do like basic, forward skating. I can do like forward swizzles and stuff pretty well, and um, I can skate in a circle as well. So basically, if you tell me to like do a circle, either standing still or gliding and then going into a circle, I could do that as well. Um, what else? Like, what else of like the basics, the very basics? Well, I recently learned how to do backward swizzles as well, which is pretty cool. I just asked someone at the rink if they can show me how to do them because they were practicing them, and they said, "Okay, I'm not the best at them either. I'm still practicing, but sure, I can show you what I know." And yeah, I learned it in that session. In the next session, when I was alone again, I practiced them a little bit more, and I feel a lot more confident doing them now. Like, I'm just, basically, I'm looking behind me, checking if there's anyone there, and then I just skate for a while and then turn back again to see if there's anyone in my way and keep on going. Yeah, so that is an improvement. What else? I don't know. Well, I can or like I'm still working on my 2 foot spin. It's not something I plan to master anytime soon, but you know, I always wanted to learn how to spin, so, and since that's like the first thing you learn basically, I thought, hey, if I can already start learning that, then I will start learning that, even though it might be a little bit too early or something. I don't know. Even if I hit a plateau and I won't make any progress at some point because I'm lacking some other skills for that, I have no idea. I'm still gonna try. I know I do not have um, the balance. I do always get a little bit wobbly whenever I stop spinning, but I managed to avoid falling for the past few sessions, like falling out of my spin, which is pretty cool. It's I fell once because I tried doing like some fancy, like I don't know, some fancy stuff, you know. I was like, okay, what if I exit the spin but like in a cool way that looks like really professional, and then I do something like this? Yeah, it did not it did not go well at all. Basically me trying to choreograph my own, skating program, and then being like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do like this with my arms and stuff, and then immediately I landed right on my ass. Yeah, that was interesting, but it was so hilarious to me because I was getting like a little bit more confident, and I was like, hey, maybe I can try doing this, so I can show off basically, because I know that someone, like one of my relatives, is gonna come along to the rink soon, or at least they said they are thinking about it. So I thought, hey, if I do this, like if I learn how to do this fancy exit out of a spin, then maybe I can do this to show off, especially because I know that I can just give them like my phone or just ask them to record me with their phone. And yeah, I just want some pretty recordings. So yeah, that was, but it was a fail, and I just landed right on the ice. It was my first fall backwards as well. I didn't exactly fall like back. I managed to keep my legs and my upper body kind of like together, so I wouldn't fall on my back or on my head. But I just fell down onto like the left side of my hip. Let's say it was like the left, and immediately got up. And I just started laughing. I was like, okay, maybe I put a little bit too much on my plate. But it was funny. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna talk about this later because I still wanna tell you about my progress. But there is something that just came to mind while I was saying that. Um, yeah, what else can I do? I did start doing crossover drills a few sessions ago, and they were like really, really wobbly, right? I would stand at the sideboards, right? And I would hold on to them or like hover my hands above them to, if in case I slip to, catch myself. And I try really wobbly. I'd be like, oh no, I need to hold on to it because I couldn't stand on one foot without holding on to something. And then crossing my right foot over my left, and then trying um, to step out with the left one again. Classic crossover drills. I could not do them without like. Also, I could not do them without just skating backwards like immediately, because I shifted my weight to the front, so my skates just decided, okay, backwards we go. Nowadays, though, I managed to improve enough that I can do those drills away from the sideboards. Like, I don't have to hold on to anything. I can just stand up straight and do those crossover drills. I still like to do them near the sideboards and not like in the middle of the ice, because I feel I feel safer, and I also know that there's like, I don't want to be in the middle, okay? Because it's a public session. It's not actually, like a figure skating session. It's a public session, so everyone is there. Everyone, like people who have never been on the ice before, just like school classes and everything. So I'm thinking, the middle is pretty dangerous. You have some people, like you have some, it depends honestly. If you go on a weekday, not a weekend, if you go on a weekday, you have some people actually practicing figure skating, some beginners, some more advanced skaters. you have school classes sometimes, you have, um, I don't know, I've seen like parents or grandparents with their kids for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe they don't have school or whatever. And, but sometimes you've even got people in the middle who do like jumps. I've seen a guy on the weekend, by the way, when it was like super crowded. I've seen a guy who actually jumped like in the middle of the rink. And I was like, what? So yeah, the middle is always kind of like, I know usually during a figure skating session, it's corners for jumps and the middle for spins. But during a public session, it's more like everyone kind of has their corner, especially if it's not that crowded. Like if it's not a weekend, but a weekday in like the early morning when kids are at school, adults are at work, and you've got like those like that really small minority of people who go there to just work on their skills. Then you have, because I've seen people who are like, okay, there's someone on this side, there's someone on this side, in this corner there's someone practicing something. Then we've got, I don't know, we've got this guy who looks like he's doing either speed skating or ice hockey or whatever. He has like ice hockey skates and stuff, who's just like going in circles really fast. You've got like, where everyone is, right? So I got my little spin corner as well, where I don't know, I feel more confident spinning there because I know everything, it just feels like, I don't know how to describe it. It just feels right to spin in this corner and not anywhere else. I tried it in other places, but this just feels right. There's also always this little bump in the ice on one side where I'm always a bit cautious because every time I skate over this, there's just this little bump, like, and I'm like, okay, why is it there? This little wave. And that's also the side where I find the most toe pick holes in the ice. I'm always just like, I'm skating and I'm looking, I'm looking in front of me, like I'm looking down, not down, but I'm looking like what's in front of me on the ice, and I'm seeing like, oh, there's a hole, there's also a hole, there's some really, really weird, like huge, I don't know, line carved into the ice, and it's like, the ice on this side just looks absolutely horrible. So I do skate there, but I just do this to like, do my laps, right? When I go on the ice, I do a few laps to like warm up, get used to the feeling of being on skates again. And I'm usually on the other side of the rink because the ice there, it kind of feels like the ice near the entrance is more, where like kids are, little boys who like love to do like either play tag on the ice, or you've got like some like teenage or young adults, especially men, who always love to do like some crazy stuff, like some really like, like hockey stops and stuff, and just spray everyone with ice. Or you've got them just being like, just basically like slamming their blades into the ice because they think it's cool or whatever. And it's like, they're like with their friends, they're like, hey bro, look what I can do. And they just completely butcher the entire rink on this side at least. So that's like the chaos side. And then we've got the calm side that's farther away from the entrance, where usually there's this group of figure skaters. Like last time I went, there were like two skaters apart from me. One who really, I looked up to this woman so much because she could like do 1 foot glides, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. And sorry. And this other woman whom I asked if she can teach me how to do backward swizzles. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know where I left off. Oh yeah, right, crossovers. Well, I can do the same, the drill of like lifting my right foot, crossing it over the left, and then stepping out with my left foot. I can do that while gliding on both feet really, really slowly. Like so slow that I actually just push myself off the sideboards instead of, actually like skating myself. I just push myself a bit and I'm like, okay, I'm like really, really slow. So now that I have a little bit of movement, I can try. If I'm doing this while being a bit faster, I lose my balance. But I'm slowly getting used to the feeling of doing this while being in motion. So yeah, I did not expect to, I don't expect at all to get my crossovers this season. But one of my New Year's resolutions is to get my crossovers this year. So maybe next season, or you know what? There's actually a huge chance that I can even practice during the summer months because I'm gonna move soon, and I found a rink near where I'm gonna move to that is open all year round. And now, okay, the times are a little bit weird. Like they have public sessions, but they're always kind of late, like starting at noon or 2 p.m., and always more on the weekends, depending. During like the school vacation, the summer vacation, they're open like for public sessions all week, starting from either noon or 2 p.m. But still, it's so late that I think, okay, everyone's awake. Everyone, even the people who slept in, are awake. It's school vacation, so everyone's either gone or there are a bunch of tourists who then go to this rink, so it's always going to be crowded. They have patches for figure skating and ice dance, but I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm thinking depending on my level, okay? Because I honestly don't really dare to go to, actually go to a figure skating, like centered uh, session, because first of all, those patches are like 50 minutes. They cost a lot, not a lot more, but they cost a bit more than regular public skating. And I'm just thinking, I don't know. Depending on my level, I might go, I might try it, but I really don't feel comfortable because I know everyone there is a skater. There are no kids who can't skate yet. There are no adults who like try not to fall because they have like their little kids on like basically like they're holding on to their little kids and they don't want to drag them down. You have no like teenagers who just like skate in a line, which by the way, don't do this, please. Don't all like hold hands and skate in a huge line. You're blocking everything. And if someone like me, I can't stop yet. If you're really slow, if you're going really slow and someone's coming from behind and they can't stop, then there's nowhere for them to, avoid running into you. So please don't do this. Or at least be really, really, really aware of your surroundings. Like check behind you, check who's there, check if there's anyone like coming who's who might need to pass through. And you can communicate as well. Like if there's someone coming, they can yell like, I don't know, they can yell like a skater incoming or something. I've actually had that happen to me before when I was still doing like inline skating. And there was like this cyclist who just screamed cyclist incoming. And then I looked behind me and I saw this guy and he was super fast. So I just went a little bit to the side so he could pass through. That's completely fine. Just communicate with each other and have some like respect for your fellow skaters. But well, what I was trying to say, I'm not sure if I want to go to a dedicated figure skating lesson, not lesson, session, patch session. Yeah, that one. I might try it. Also, I need to figure out how the locker rental works there. They listed some prices, but I'm really confused because I don't know. I don't think they want 10 euros for each time you want to rent a locker there when you're there. So I'm guessing this is like for when you buy, like 20 patch tickets at once, you can rent a locker for like a few months or something, depending. And they don't list single prices for like, okay, if you come to the rink once during public hours, this is how much a locker will cost. I really hope it's not $10 because this would be financially really bad. Also, I'm kind of wondering if there's actually a way for me as someone who does not go to those patch hours to actually rent a locker like long term for a few months. I'm definitely gonna have to ask that in person because I couldn't find out anything about it on their website. So yeah, I'm gonna go there once this summer. Really lucky because, I can actually get a pretty good discount on a train ticket, like a monthly train pass to go there. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I can maybe I can skate a little bit less in the summer, focus more on off ice, and just go once per week or something. Sounds about right. But I definitely want to check it out once first before deciding on anything, before deciding on getting one of those 10 passes, with which you can enter the rink 10 times, and before buying a monthly train pass for like almost $100. I'm gonna just go there once and check everything out and see if I feel comfortable there and if it's something that I can work with. If not, then I'm gonna have to just endure a few months without training. Well, yeah, how did I get there? I don't know. Oh, right, because I said I wanna learn how to do crossovers this year. Yeah, so maybe in the next season. Definitely, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it this season. Like, as at least not consistently and like safely. I might be able to do it like once or twice, really wobbly, and just get lucky that I don't like slip and fall. But I'm definitely not gonna be confident enough to just, say, oh yeah, I can do crossovers, see, and then just do it without like any issues. So I'm gonna work on it. I also said I want to, this is really ambitious, but it's not as specific. I said I want to work towards my first jump, which also just means doing jumps off ice. I could just attempt a lot of jumps off ice. Like during the summer months, I could do a lot of off ice training and just incorporate a lot of jump training as well. I'm not saying I want to get it this year or even like next season, because I know jumping takes so long. I'm expecting it to take like at least 3 seasons until I get to the point where I can attempt my first jump. But this is something I can leave to my coach next year. Not next year, next season, what am I saying? And just ask them about it. And they will know when I'm ready for it, and then just tell me. I'm really excited to get a coach, by the way. I don't think I told you, but I got like a little bit of a taste of what it's like to have a coach recently. I'm so sorry. Still sick again. Because I was at the rink and I was like taking a break, and went to the locker room, sat down, like had a granola bar and drank some water, and just I knew I still had to retie my skates as well. I went to the cash register thingy where you also rent out your skates and your locker and everything, and I asked just this whole team, does anyone know some things about skating? And everyone was like, no. And then there was this one employee who said she does figure skating as well. And because I wanted to have some feedback on how good, like how good my learning curve is. Like if I'm learning fast or slow or like average for how many times I've been to the rink so far and stuff. So I just wanted someone to watch and say, yeah, actually this is very fast progress or this is very slow progress and stuff. At the end, I didn't really get a decisive answer to my question, but she said, okay, let's do it. And she went outside to the rink with me. And I was like, wait, I need to retie my skates. And I sat down. I tried so hard to retie them. And then I stood up and I realized I tied them like not tight enough. And I undid like the laces again. And then she was like, should I tie them for you? I was like, yeah, would be nice. I was told to practice that, but it's still taking some time, I guess. And she tied them like so tight I could never. I mean, it was really good. Like I had a lot of, I could skate very well in them, but still, I could never tie them as tight as she did. and also showed me that, like, some stuff, like that you should, like she said, you should always tie the shoelaces around your skate once, like around the back. So yeah, I am definitely gonna have to watch a lot more tutorials, just to see what way of tying my skates fits best for me. And I went onto the ice, and she said, just skate from this to this corner. And it was a really slow, like a really, not slow, what's the word, a really short distance. And I said, I'm not going to be able to do that because I need some time. I can't just skate like 3 steps and like I need some time to get into it. And she was like, no, just do it. So I was like, okay. And I did those 3 steps to the corner. And I said, yeah, see, I told you I can't do it. I need some time to like get, to get into the flow, basically, like do a few small steps and then get into like a rhythm, kind of. And also she asked me if I can stop, and I was like, no. That was my first fall. I tried to stop, and she was like, you need to learn how to stop. I was like, yeah, I'm saving that for next season. And we kind of bickered a bit there because I was like, I'm saving that for when I have a coach, because I am not gonna learn that on my own. There's actually a reason for that, because I've heard of, like, from several coaches that they make their students actually do like drills for like a snowplow stop or something, like in the beginning of each training session. So they basically like, okay, first drills and then what we actually wanted to work on, because they said it takes so long to learn how to stop. So I wanna leave that to my coach, honestly. It's just something I have not gotten the hang of at all. So I really don't want to work on it myself. Well, and basically then she was like, okay, your steps are way too small and you lift your feet too much. I was like, okay, maybe that's my muscle memory from inline skating, because I used to do that a lot. Because, inline skating is kind of like, you don't really glide. It depends, honestly, on the speed, but it's much more about speed. So I used to do like really fast steps, right? Which then in turn ended up being really, not small, but like really frequent as well. So basically you don't do like one step and then glide a bit. You basically just do like step, 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 right? And to, generate momentum. And I did that all the time when I was doing inline skating. So I was used to it, and I was used to lifting my legs a lot, lifting my skates off the ground and bringing them back down to then generate more momentum and stuff. It's muscle memory. I mean, I did inline skate for 4 years. And she was like, yeah, you need to get rid of that. Because in figure skating, you need to learn how to glide, really just glide. Because that's like really, basically, like that's the foundation for doing 1-foot glides one day. You need to learn how to glide. And then she told me to like lean more into, into my knee, basically, lean my weight more onto one leg and then on the other and stuff. And I tried it, and she was like, yeah, that's perfect. And I was like, well, it feels a lot more wobbly now. I feel a lot more unsafe. Feels like I'm losing my balance all the time. Not even to the sides. I don't lose my balance to the sides. I lose it like, I feel like I'm falling either forward, not forward, backwards actually. But she was like, yeah, you need to practice that. So now I am working on glides, even though I really suck at them and I don't like to work on them at all. Well, and I was like, I think I showed her the crossover drills that I was practicing, and I also showed her my 2-foot spin practice, and she told me my 2-foot spin practice was really good for someone who has just been to the rink like 6 or 7 times so far. And she only had like 10 minutes, so then she said like, yeah, keep working on it, and you're doing good progress, and then she left. And also she called me cute because I told her like some stuff about my inspirations and stuff. And yeah, basically she was really nice, and she said like, hey, we're gonna see each other again for sure because I work here. So yeah, she left, and I kept on working on gliding and stuff a bit. Yeah, in those 10 minutes, it was really nice though to like feel like you have, like, that's what I meant, like I got a glimpse of what it's like to have a coach. Because after I did that, she was like, "Can you just try to do what I told you? You know, the advice about like how to glide more instead of doing smaller steps from this corner to the other." And then I went, just skated to the corner, and immediately when I arrived at the corner, I turned around and I looked where she is, and she just came like walking towards me, and just gave me a thumbs up, and it made me so happy. Like I really like, I don't know, I like having someone who's like watching what I'm doing and then saying, yeah, that was good, or no, that wasn't that good yet, or just straight up, that was awful. Because I want honesty, okay? I want someone to say that was absolutely abysmal. Do that again. Like as in try it again. And then, I don't want to, if I could choose, okay? I don't want a coach who sugarcoats things and is like, well, it wasn't that good yet, but you tried, but more like, that was awful. That was straight up awful. Oh my god, why am I coaching you? And then I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna try again, okay? And then, because it's kind of like this honesty, right? I want someone who tells me when I've done like poorly, but I also want someone who's gonna be like, if I actually do something well, like if I actually execute a move really, really well, that they're like, that was amazing. I'm proud of you. I want someone who's like, you want like, I don't want someone who's strict or like rude, but I want someone who won't worry about hurting my feelings by saying the truth. And in turn also like get excited about my progress, like just as excited as I get, when they're like, that was really, really good. And I'm like, oh my god, thank you so much. I'm so excited. This was the first time that I got this. And they're like sharing that excitement. Maybe not as much as me, but they're sharing that excitement. And not like, yeah, whatever, now do that like 5 more times. More like, yeah, you did good. I'm proud of you. That was the first time you actually got this right. Now try it again. Let's see if you do it right again. It's that encouraging kind of thing, that balance between being encouraging and being like a little bit strict, because you have to be strict as a coach, right? Well, I'm gonna see what kind of coach I get. Also, I'm hopefully gonna be able to afford private lessons next season. I don't know, I'm thinking, or not thinking, I want to get a job, but it has to be something so low effort, basically, that I can do it despite my mental health. And also, our welfare system doesn't really allow me to earn that much on top. So honestly, there's really no point in working like a full-on mini job when I only get to keep like not even half of it. More like, if I find a job that I get hired for that has like a lower amount of hours, like work hours each week or month, and I don't earn that much, because it's gonna be confiscated anyway, because I still get welfare money. Yeah, but I really hope I'll be able to do that sometime, so I can afford supporting my skating career myself. Because I don't wanna, like, I know that I can't afford it with just the welfare money I get, because it's really not enough. And I'm not gonna live anywhere close to my parents anymore, so I can't ask them for money. I'm gonna live with a friend of mine, and I really don't wanna ask him for money either. Like, yeah, sure, it's okay to sometimes ask, like, hey, can you give me like $5? Because, I don't know, it's the end of the month and I would like to buy, I don't know, a sack of potatoes because we don't have any anymore and I can't afford them. That's fine, right? Like sharing household expenses, but not this. So I spent all my money this month on figure skating, so now I can't afford to buy anything for our household anymore. So you are gonna have to pay for everything. That's just that's just an that's just not a good move. So the goal is to like get some sort of income for myself. Also, I told you about this member of my family who's in the hospital right now, right? They're still in a coma, although the doctors are trying to wake them up. Like they're slowly, reducing the meds to um, slowly get them out of the coma. And they've got, I don't know what it's called in English, but they've got this thing where they get like an incision in their throat and a breathing tube through it. They got that now as well, and it's gonna be permanent. There's no chance they're ever gonna get rid of it. And yeah, that's the news basically. And this family member usually used to like give me money when I didn't have any left, like really not any money left. At like in the middle of the month, I'd be here like, I kind of overspent again. I don't have money for food, and they'd be mad obviously, but they'd give me money so I wouldn't starve. Well, this whole situation now made me realize they're not always gonna be there. Like they could just pass away. Something could happen, like it did now, and they could be gone. And not only would I have to like go through this whole thing of like mourning and like I don't know, learning how to organize a funeral and stuff, but I'd also just sit here and I'd have no like financial backup anymore in case something happens. If I run out of money, that's it. So I really need to get more responsible with my finances. Maybe I should have written it down as like a resolution for the new year. Well, too late. But yeah. I told you a bunch of things about skating now. Well, I'm really passionate about it, okay? I've been wanting to skate ever since I was 7, and now I can finally do it. Kind of feels It kind of feels a bit surreal, but I'm aiming to. I don't even know what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for a level of skill that makes me, like myself, proud. And honestly, I think that's not gonna be that high of a goal because I'm already proud of myself. I'm gonna be proud of myself when I can do my first waltz jump, for example. Because I know that there's so much work that you have to put into, like so much effort and a lot of sacrifices you have to make for a sport like that. So knowing my journey, knowing what I've gone through emotionally, physically, to get to, for example, this jump, I will already be super proud and act like I don't know, I will feel like I've just jumped like a quad axel or something. It will make no difference for me because the excitement is gonna be the same, like not the same obviously because I'm never gonna jump a quad, but I'm just imagining that my excitement over a simple waltz jump is gonna be the same excitement that someone like Ilya had when he jumped his first quad axel. I'm just imagining that, because for me the stakes are really low. Like there are no big competitions. I would like to compete one day, but I don't even need to win. Sure, that could be, you could say that's a bad mindset because you need to have that like competitiveness, but I'm just thinking I want to be there. I want to wear a pretty costume. I want to be able to skate. I want to have like the applause. I don't care how many points I get. I just want the experience. I want to be there. I want to be part of this world. I don't care if I like get last place. I would honestly, like, obviously, one day I would like to at least once make it on the podium. I don't care if it's third place, second place, or first. I just want to know what it's like standing up there and having a medal as well. That would be really cool. And if I could dream big, I would say I want to own one gold medal. I don't care for like which kind of competition or which level I'm competing at. I want one gold medal in my life. Because all the medals I've gotten so far are participation medals. For like, for example, like runs that I've participated in. None of them are like actually, first place. But in skating competitions, there is a chance. I know I will never get a gold medal in a marathon, but for skating competitions, there is always a chance, especially if you work hard and also depending on what competition you got. And also because skating is kind of like this gamble, right? Even if you always even if you always land your jumps perfectly, something could always go wrong. There's always a small chance that this time you don't. So maybe I'm not gonna be like the highest, like the one with the highest skill level at a competition, but it could just be that I'm ending up on I think I'd end up on second place, but the one whom I think would end up on first place just does something wrong in their program and loses some points, and then I end up on first place completely out of nowhere. Nobody expected it. It could always happen. I don't wish it to happen to them, because I don't want, I'm not the kind of person who's competitive enough to wish for other people to fall or injure themselves. But it could always happen that they don't execute something as well as they thought they would, or they want to jump a triple but it turns into a double. Something could always just go wrong. It's a sport that's I think, as just like every sport, there's always a small chance that what you set out to do doesn't work. And of course, through training, you can minimize that chance, but it's always there. I don't think anyone lands 100% of their jumps, for example. Or we all have bad days. Maybe I'm gonna have a really good day on one competition day, and someone else who's my biggest competition at this one competition, my biggest rival, basically, because they are the biggest threat to me on skill level. Maybe they're gonna have a really bad day, and nobody would have expected that I'm gonna end up on first place and they're ending up on second or third. Nobody knows. There's always this little chance. So yeah, I'm yapping again. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm yapping too much. Well, I don't know. I can't really talk about anything else because I don't really have anything else to talk about. Right now, skating is the only thing on my mind. Oh, I did want to talk about something else though, related to skating, but something that came to mind earlier when I said that, that thing about when I fall on the ice, I just laugh and get back up immediately and just say, well, maybe I got a little bit too cocky there. Honestly, in my private life, right? In my personal life, I am so terrified of any weird physical symptom I get. I'm always oh my god, what could that mean? I'm kind of the person who's having some sort of chest pain at night and then being I'm gonna die tonight. Goodbye, everyone. I know that sounds dramatic, but I'm just so terrified of getting any sort of health complication. But on the ice, I don't care. When I'm at the rink, I keep on falling, on my hands, on my knees, on my butt. It doesn't matter. I immediately, the moment my hands touch the ice, I work on getting back up immediately and just keep on skating and just laugh it off and be well, first fall of the day. And it's nothing. I feel when I'm skating, I feel although that sounds a bit weird, I feel I'm immortal. Nothing can harm me. Nothing can happen to me. And this fear of always having this fear of dying any second from some weird, mysterious, unknown illness that I had or whatever, or just getting a stroke or a heart attack. It's not there. I feel free. I feel I can just focus on the ice under my blades. And I can just be happy. And I can just feel I'm basically flying. And I don't know, this whole thing, my life is kind of falling apart with my family and everything, and the trouble I have with my neighbor, and also I'm completely alone here, so I feel a little bit scared at night, especially. I can't sleep. All those things, they don't really make a difference to me when I'm skating. I just feel at the rink, I feel nothing from the outside world can reach me. My identity is doesn't matter. It's completely irrelevant who I am or who I was before, what my past was, who my family is, who I associate with, what troubles I have in my life. The only thing that matters is that I'm there, that I put on my skates, and then I hit the ice. Like everyone else. Nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows what I struggle with. Nobody has any prejudices against me. Nobody's like, oh, look, there's that mentally ill girl. Or like, oh my god, look, there's that weird person who does like, I don't know, who did this in the past. Nobody knows I've been to the mental hospital so many times. Nobody knows I have a broken family. Nobody knows I don't have a job. I told one person that I don't have a job at the moment, but I didn't tell them why. I just told them I don't have one. I'm just a normal member of society. I'm just someone who skates. I don't have any of those, like handicaps that usually people, or like those stamps, like those labels that people put on me, like, oh, mentally ill, jobless, homeless even. Nobody's like judging me. The only thing people could judge me for is my level of skill, for example, which never happened to me before. Nobody looked at me with that typical, like, I don't know, teen TV show evil girl look, like looked me up and down and was like, ew. Are you pretending to be a figure skater at that level? Pathetic. Nobody did that. Nobody's looking at me and laughing at me. I'm seeing, like, last time I went, there was this woman, I don't know, maybe it was the mother, maybe it was the grandma, maybe an aunt, I don't know, with this little kid. And they kept on skating in circles, and they always came by my jump corner while I was practicing jumps, I was practicing like those crossover drills, I was practicing backward swizzles a bit, and they always came by, and this woman always just looked at me and smiled. Like I did, backward swizzles for a while, and I saw them coming my way, and they skated past me, and this woman just smiled at me, saw what I was doing and smiled. Nobody's looking at me weirdly, like nobody hates me there. I don't get bullied for once in my life. I just feel like, hey, I can finally be this person I always wanted to be as a kid. I can go to this weird, like, school gym looking locker room and sit down and drink something, eat a little bit, and just feel like a kid who's going to, like, some sports practice after school. I can feel like I'm part of something, and I think this feeling will only increase once I can join a club next year. Not next year, next season, you know what I mean. I can just feel like, hey, I'm just a skater, like anyone else here. And all I want to do is learn and get better, and nobody here is like discriminating me, nobody's judging me, nobody has like any negative feelings about me, as long as I don't mess up, obviously. Like, I could just be the most obnoxious person in my club and just be mean to like everyone at my lessons, but I'm not planning to. It's just, I feel like I got a second chance at building up an existence for myself. And none of the negative things in my life can, like, I brought none of them into the rink with me. I put my phone into my locker and I leave it there most of the time. Maybe I'm checking it real quick while taking a break just to see if there's any like big news, if someone texted me like, oh my god, this family member that's in the hospital, right? They woke up, or they are doing worse, or whatever. I just check my phone real quick. Okay, did anyone text me? Does anyone want to meet up this afternoon? Nope. Okay, phone goes back into the locker. I'm not part of the outside world. I don't know, I just want to live at the rink, honestly. It's a good distraction. It's a really good distraction. And it makes me happy, which I think is the most important part. Well, I'm so sorry for yapping to you for 15 minutes. I didn't intend for that to become that long. I literally got home, put my phone down, started a video, and yeah, here we are. I didn't even like change into my pajamas yet, which I usually do when I get home. I didn't even unpack my groceries yet, which is fine because I didn't buy anything that needs to be refrigerated, but still, I did nothing. I came home, put down my bag, and took off my jacket and immediately started this. I should really stop. Well, hope you enjoyed my yapping. I don't know if you wanna yap too, or just have anything to say about anything I said. Leave it in the comments. Feel free. Let's have some nice chats or whatever. I always love communicating with you guys. It's a lot of fun. Well, anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye bye!